Mic check. Mic check. Is it working? All right. Thank you very much, Ian. Learning never stops, and if you are in the data space like I am in, things change very, very quickly. Just a month ago, there was ChatGPT 3, and then 2 weeks later, there was ChatGPT 4. So we can't stop learning, right? All right. So I was asked last week to talk about how we leverage data to drive value in SACCOs, and specifically using predictive analytics to forecast default rates and I believe it's manage risks. Something is cut off there. So I'll be talking about data, about AI, about predictive modeling, analytics. I'll keep it very light. So I had 2 slide decks. One was if I was going to speak at 8 o'clock, and one for 1 p.m. And this is the 1 p.m. slide, so very, very high level. All right. At a very high level, who is Pathways Technologies Limited? We are an innovation company. We do data, technology, and innovation. We work with our organizations, our customers, to think through their processes, think through their business, and then figure out how does data and technology play a part of my business. So the panel that just spoke here with Presta and Kelvin and the rest, I feel like I should have been in that panel and maybe not even done what I'm doing right now, because they spoke to what you're talking about right now, which is the dual transformation and the digital transformation. So as we are thinking about offering value to the Gen Zs and everyone else, how do we leverage what we have every single day? So at Pathways, we do 5 main things. One is BI and data science. That's our core, our bread and butter. We have apps and software development. We do a lot of trainings and staffing. We do fintech innovation. And then last but not least, we do advisory. Now, I'll speak about advisory for a minute because I feel like the SACCO space needs this service very much, because advisory comes in the form of working with you, thinking together and saying, what are the best products for us? We have Gen Zs. How do we appeal to Gen Zs? So Melissa right there is our head of advisory. Melissa, put your hand up. Yeah, and she's running our advisory unit. I was told to give a story about predictive analytics, because I had a slide here that had algorithms. I was told, no, that's not the right thing to do, right? So this story is about rain. I think it's timely because we just got our rains after a very long time. So everyone likes the sound of rain and everything else. Now, growing up, minus the Gen Zs, for most of us, we grew up at a time where our parents or grandparents used to sit down and say, "Imvua ni ya kupita." Who remembers that? Right? Imvua ni ya kupita. How do they know? Imvua ni ya kupita. Experience, right? There's some data there, some information there. Over time, they knew. Because I used to wonder, these guys, how do they know? Yeah? They're saying, hii harufu ya mvua. I was like, wow, these guys are amazing, right? That's the first story about rain. Second story about rain is, do you ever ask yourselves how hawkers in the streets, suddenly, if it starts raining, these guys magically show up with buckets of umbrellas? They're like, are they keeping the umbrellas somewhere just waiting? Right? Anyway, long story short, as human beings, we are driven by our cognitive abilities, right? So through experience, through data, through our learnings, we can predict what's about to happen. So the hawker knows that based on the clouds and based on the drizzles, umbrellas are going to fly off my bucket very quickly. Right? I was going to say fly off the shelf, but it's fly off the bucket, right, very quickly. So that's the story. Now, fast forward to the era of machine learning, to the era of AI, to the era of analytics. What's all these things, predictive analytics, AI, machine learning? Essentially, we are training machines to think like a human being and make decisions. And the beauty about it is that the machines can think maybe faster. They can be trained to think in very many different scenarios. Because like growing up, there was this couple of guys who knew mvua ni ya kupita, right? And there's a couple of guys who knew these birds mean something. Now we can train machines to think through all that. So moving on very quickly. This guy talks about knowing your customer. I think Kelvin mentioned knowing your customer, understanding what they really want. The Gen Zs told us they want to go for trips. Somebody else said they want to build houses. How do we really know our customer? And how do we really know what they like to do? If we have 5,000 or 30,000 members or 1 million members, is it really possible to know each and every customer and what they want and how they want it? Enters the era of analytics, AI, predictive analytics, machine learning, and all those good things. So these things are actually here with us. I know they sound like far-fetched, they sound like they're not working, but we'll actually give you a couple of examples of how we are working with circles today in Kenya to really deliver value using data and predictive modeling. So what if you really knew your member? How would you be able to serve them? Now, I'm going to give one quick use case of a circle that we're working with currently in Kenya. This circle realized that its members were really diverse. Like somebody said, circles typically have two products, savings and loans. That's it, right? But the circle said, wait, we have a very diverse group of members, from all the way from 20 years old to probably, 55 actually was a cap. And that was a question, why 55? Why are they living after 55? Right? Are they supposed to live? They're living with very big deposits, but bigger than whatever we are getting from the guys who are coming in. So Sako asked themselves all these questions, and then they said, hey, pathways, let us work together to figure out what's really going on. So what we did with them was, first of all, we built some customer insights, and we built customer segments with this Sako. And we say these segments represent what our analytics is showing us about our members. We have the 20 to 28-year-olds who want to travel, who have never been to a branch, never done ABCD. So we built the customer segments all the way to the over 70-year-olds who are now retired, never transacted again, no salary, but they're doing some things as well. Once they built the segments, they began assessing what they're calling member lifetime value. What's the value of my member? How much should we have gotten from them in terms of transaction fees, in terms of loans, interest, and all that? What is that value? Again, using analytics, we were able to help them really think through and figure out how that value should be placed. And again, this was now the dual transformation, where the business understands the business side of things, we understand tech, and we come and fuse it together. After that, we're figuring out, now based on these segments, and based on the value that we've established, do we have gaps? Do we have outliers? Do we have people who are supposed to be in our gold tier, they're supposed to be in our tiger group, but they're not really meeting the standards? They're not borrowing enough. They're not. That tells you that maybe you need to think about your products, right? So then it was about upselling and cross-selling opportunities, specifically targeted at members in certain cohorts or in certain segments, because we understand and we can see from our data that people like them are also getting certain let's say services. And back to Mr. Fideli's point of no longer just offering savings and deposits and loans. What else can we layer on top? Is it insurance? Is it mortgages? Is it, what else can we layer on top of that? So this helped them really understand very well the people in these segments need the following items. And we went as far as doing what we call social media sentiment analysis to understand what hashtags are they following, what handles, what are they doing, where are they traveling to, right? After that, what they saw was an uptake in member satisfaction, an increase in satisfaction, because they were able to pitch to members items that really matter to them. Earlier on, they would release a product and say, we are building property in Mavoko. It wasn't being taken up. Because who tells you they want to go to Mavoko? Is it because I had a chat with you, he told me Mavoko is a good place, let's go build property there? I live in Mavoko by there, so I love that place. but as an example. So this is an example of KYC, know your customer. Go deep into really understanding your customer, and data can really help you figure out how to do that. I'm almost done. I can smell the lunch already. So what you have at Pathways Technologies is an advisory unit that really helps you think through your products, backed by data and insights. And then we have two main products. So in terms of managing defaults and risk, I pulled this slide off of one of our products called Sako BI. And this is a simple analysis of approved amounts versus recovery rate. What this tells me is that a clicker? It's a clicker. That anyone who's down below this line is a risk to me right away. Because we've approved a high amount of money and the recovery rates are low. That's a very simple insight. I'm sure any of you can build this very quickly in 2 minutes. Of course, after coming to our training. Right? I'm telling you, in 5 minutes you can build this dashboard. Any of you don't need Python, you don't need anything. Drag and drop, right? A very simple example of insights. Anyone below this line who's coming to borrow, we need to look at them again. We need to ask for additional collateral, right? Very simple. So that is Sako BI, a very high-level introduction to Sako BI, and I'll give you guys a link, go play around with the dashboards. On the left-hand side, we have a scoring model, a scoring engine that we've developed. It's been approved by the central bank. By the way, it's running with a couple of the local banks. That scoring engine, again, uses data, uses machine learning to learn through the transactions and tell you this particular customer, we're grading him at 600 out of 800. What to do with that information? Dual transformation. The business knows what to do with high-risk customers, right? And no disrespect to your credit bureaus, right? The bureaus will tell you, don't touch this guy only, don't touch this lady, right? But we want more than that. We don't think defaulting once should throw you out and make sure you don't get any loans, right? So our scoring engine also helps you to really de-risk what you do. I see Ian here. Other use cases very quickly, and we can talk all day about this. Loan default predictions. We can build models to predict loan defaults. Member churn prediction. Before a member leaves your circle, we can build models based on those who've left before. It's also called an attrition prediction model. We can build models for that. Investment performance, product recommendations, marketing campaigns, and even a big one with cybersecurity. Fraud detection is really big. So we can build models to detect fraud. When certain transactions happen, when you see this and this and that, a red flag is raised. That's my last slide there. I need to pay the bills. I was told by my team members to throw that up there. That link there leads to Sako BI. If you go to the link, you can find a few of our analyses there, play around with them. So get up your phone. I know the Gen Zs have already gotten their phones out. The other guys are still waiting to see what happens over here. So just get your phone out, put it over there. You'll get a link on your screen, click on it. It will get you to our Sako BI solution. Play around with it. And that's our contact information. And that is my English version of Predictive Analytics Lesson 1. Thank you very much, guys.